Hey, this is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the platforms around the world. So everybody knows I don't really particularly like doing Zoom interviews. It's all about our live. But when you can get the CEO of Wood Expressions, Chef Rachel Roberts from Houston, Texas, with her son, Cooper, who I think needs to be exposed to chess because that would help him. Ron, tell us about your company because I love what I saw at Astro. And now because of things that I saw there, I'm coming in as an affiliate to help Astro with a lot of the companies that I want to help, if that makes sense.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. So Wood Expressions has been around since 1977, a couple years. We focus on board games like chess, checkers, backgammon, cribbage, dominoes. We also focus on antiquity games. In addition to that, we do party games and puzzles. So a lot of different fun that we have at Wood Expressions.
So the good thing about that, Rachel and I were talking about this when I came back. I had never gone to Astro before. I saw every single booth and I was invited for the Black Inventors Got Game. So they made me an entrepreneur. So I'm going into their Hall of Fame next year for the Black Inventors Got Game. Once I walked in there, I'm like, wow, this is great. No press people here, but there's a lot of great companies. There's a lot of great games. Anything that helps kids with mind games, whether it's playing cards, if they have ADHD or Asperger's or whatever the case, things like what you have are what I want to be involved in. And so when I was out visiting Rachel in Houston, I kept looking at her son, Cooper. I'm like, we got to get him into something because he's all over the place. So chess, you don't know. I learned chess in third grade. It was one of the best games for me till this day, and I love it. So I played the game of life like playing chess, if that makes sense. I know you can understand that. Why is that good for kids who have attention deficits? And why are you getting into a lot of the schools? Because I think that's great.
So I don't know that it's good for kids with ADD. I don't know that there've been any studies done, but what I can tell you is, chess teaches a lot of different values that are transferable to life. So one of them is immediate reward versus consequences. So, if you're playing chess and you take someone's piece, you get a reward. If you lose a piece, it's a consequence. So you want to protect your pieces. In addition to that, it's strategic thinking. You're thinking, a few moves in advance. So it really teaches, strategic thinking. It does help with focus. They've done studies where they simply teach the game of chess, and before they teach the game of chess, they measure test scores, and then they teach the game, and then they measure test scores again, and it's shown that test scores increase simply by learning the game of chess. And I think it's because of all the benefits that come along with the game. So it really is a great game. Chess is prevalent in schools, especially on the younger age, where schools are trying to figure out, hey, how can we have fun and learn through playing games, and it's been very beneficial. But scholastic chess is popular in America, and boy, just recently with the Netflix series Queen's Gambit, yeah, boy, it really just it did even more wonders for chess. So yeah, it's a great game. It's the world game, by the way, and it is very popular in schools.
So Rachel, think about this. When I saw the chessboard, now I've seen a lot of great chess games, but when I saw this, it was hand engraved. And I'm like, oh, I love this. I think I took a photo of it. I'm like, oh, I got to have one of these things. What else do you guys? Now, I didn't know that you had other board games. Talk about the other board games and then go back to the handcrafted engraved chess game also.
Sure. Yeah. So, we have all kinds of board games, a lot of antiquity games. The oldest board game in the world is a game called Mancala. Have you guys heard of that game? It's known by a few different names. I do not think I have one around me here, but it's the oldest board game in the world. Back in the diamond mines, they would literally dig pits in the sand and play this game with real diamonds. So it's got a lot of history. I want to play with some real diamonds, darn it. So, but it's a great game, and the game is popular with kids because as an art project, you can make this game out of an egg carton, because it's really you have 12 pits. One side would be my side, the other side would be your side. It's typically a 2-player game, and it's a great counting game. It is one of the games my daughter loves to play with me. Is Mancala. If you haven't Yeah, if you haven't heard of it, look it up. It's a great game, and it's really a lot of fun. And it also supposedly, I've not seen the statistics on this, but supposedly it is as complex as chess because of the counting on it. So there's a lot of combinations of counting, but it is another strategic game and the same kind of thing. It's a count and capture game. So you want to take your opponent's pieces and they want to take yours. So you're strategically thinking, trying to figure out, hey, how do I take their pieces and protect mine? But it's a wonderful game. So
My little one loves to count. Like he's 7, but he's just brilliant. He's constantly counting and counting. Whereas just it seems like a year ago, he wasn't even able to count to 5. He was like 1, 4, 7,
yeah,
all over the place. And then it's like all of a sudden his brain just starts. And now he's like, if 6 months go by, how many days is that? I'm like, I don't know. And then he says it, and I'm like, whoa. He's like, there's 30 days in a month. Let's just average that out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think he would really like that game. I'm gonna look that up.
it's a great game. Yeah, it's and there's other antiquity games that we do as well. But there was a game called Senate, which was the favorite game of the pharaohs, and when they opened up King Tut's tomb, they actually found little mini Senate games.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of games. One of our most popular games is a game called 4 Player Shut the Box. This is another great game for your son, and it's all about rolling dice and covering tiles. So if you cover all your tiles and you shut the box, but it's a game that you can play individually. It's a game you can play competitively. So it's also a lot of fun. There's so much history in games, and there's so much educational value, and it's all hidden in the veil of fun. So it works out really well.
Love it. Fantastic.
Talk about the engraved chessboards that you guys have. I just love that. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, so we do very basic chessboards, and we have these little travel chessboards that we do that are inexpensive, that we use for chess, all the way to hand carved, hand polished chessmen and beautifully completed boards. I think on the retail side, we probably range up to about $2,000 in retail for a beautiful chess set, and again, all the way down to a few dollars. So it just depends on what someone's love for the game is and what their budget is, and we can help them spend their money. So it really just kind of depends. So yeah, it's easy for us to do.
Very cool. What's your website?
Woodexpressions.com.
Okay.
And Ron, what's the other games that you have? Did you say you had Monopoly too?
We don't do Monopoly. Monopoly is a game that's protected by trademark, and
Right.
so really just we do have a lot of open market games. So open market games are like chess, checkers, backgammon, cribbage, dominoes. Senate or Mancala are both open market games. Games that are typically protected. So like if you see an image on a puzzle, the image is probably protected. So we have puzzles that we do. We also have party games that we do as well. So we have games for young kids, young adults, and older adults. The younger adult side is something like we have a Campbell's dice game, and then we have other fun games for adults called Dirty Minds, and it's a test
I've
of
heard
how
of that
clean.
game.
Yeah, it's a test of how clean your mind is. So there's nothing dirty about the game, but it tests your mind to see if your mind is clean, then you can come up with a clean answer. If your mind is dirty, then
That's
you
pretty
can't.
good.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Rachel, you like that game?
That's hilarious. I remember
Have you
that
ever?
the party we had. It seems like my neighbor down the street would have liked that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a popular game. It's been around for a while, but we do really well with it. It's just a game that people love, and it's a fun challenge.
Cool. How do I? So my little one starts school in a couple weeks. Should I give them your information when it comes to you could hook them up with? I don't know. Cooper last year was like he was so it was like kindergarten, but now it's first grade. So I don't even know if they have like a chess club, but I would, I can introduce the idea to them if they don't. And maybe if they do, still.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
And Shut the Box is a game that I've seen in first or second grade classes, because the teachers teaching the numbers skills. So it's also a game that I've seen that has done well in early years. So chess really, you're able to really start understanding chess at the age of about 6 because of the complex instructions.
Mhm.
But people really, typically you'll see someone at 7, 8 years old that's really starting to get a hold of it. Of course, you see, some of the parents that are pushing their 4-year-old to learn the game of chess. But for most people, it's at the age of 6 plus.
Mhm. Okie dokie.
Hey, Ron, tell your story really quickly and how long you've been CEO of the company.
Wow. So my story, I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I I was in sales when I really kind of finished up school and was trying to earn a living, and moved out to California and was in sales again and really just pounding the streets and working for corporate America. I worked my way up into management, and that was another big challenge on really working with salespeople. Salespeople are a unique breed, as I'm sure everyone knows, and we come with a lot of benefits and a couple challenges. So, but we're very valuable, to companies because you help make that world turn around, and that's really where I cut my teeth, was in sales and sales management. I went to work for a .com company chasing stock options. And then we had the .com crash in the late 90s and early 2000s, and went out on my own and started really trying to figure out what I could do to earn a living on my own accord, and was into real estate for a few years, and then experienced some good success and had some money saved and bought Wood Expressions in 2005. And it's really just been an amazing experience. It's there's so much to owning an import export business. It's been a lot of hard work, and we've experienced a lot of good success along with a few challenges along the way as well. So we're a small company in really the definition of America, and we have about 20 employees. We have our headquarters here in Los Angeles, California, and we sell to small, medium, and large businesses. We sell internationally. It's been an amazing ride. It's really been quite the experience.
See, that's good to know. And then give your social media links on that.
Can you repeat that?
Your social media link.
Oh, so woodexpressions.com, www.woodexpressions.com. We do a little bit of Twitter and Facebook, but primarily most people make it to our website for the most part.
All right, Rachel, before we end, tell them who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Rachel Roberts Recipes. You can find me anywhere and on all those social media platforms, and I do coffee talk in the mornings. Yeah, you come and find me and watch me on your Facebook. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite recipe though, Rachel?
Oh, you know what? I eat a lot of salmon. I play around with salmon. Like yesterday, I posted a salmon stew that I made, and some guy laughed, and he was like, "Man, he's like, there's not gonna be any more salmon in the sea after you're done." I love salmon.
That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ron, she makes everything fresh from the garden to her stove.
Yeah, I love to grow stuff, and I go around, I pick tomatoes and fresh peppers, and my whole thing is so eat clean so you can drink a little dirty.
I can subscribe to that service.
Yeah.
Hey, so with that, all right, so it's about Wood Expressions. I mean, I love this company. I love what it stands for. I love what you have. Anything that we can do to help, and we will. And with that, this is Ron. Obviously, it's Chef Rachel Roberts. I'm Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next